Hello, everyone. My name is Carrie George, and I am with CIBN TV on YouTube, and you can find our website at thecibn.com. Today, I am going to be talking about the power of LinkedIn and using LinkedIn power to increase your business revenue by $150,000 a year. So you're going to want to stay tuned to hear how we do this at CIBN Connect. Hello, I'm Carrie George, and this is CIBN TV on YouTube, and that's where you can find more videos, particularly in this series, as we are doing a 9-series thing about increasing your business revenue. And each one of the 9 is actually designed to bring in about $150,000 a year more revenue. So you're going to want to watch the whole series at CIBN TV on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and ring the bell, because if you ring the bell, you'll hear when the next one comes up and you won't miss any of them. So you're going to want to do that. You can also find us at thecibn.com is our website. All right, today I want to talk about how to increase your overall business revenue by using LinkedIn, what I call LinkedIn power. And I'm going to talk to you about some things that some of it might be obvious, but a lot of it isn't, because I just know over the years of dealing with thousands of business owners through the CIBN Connect Business Network, we see a lot of people who are not using LinkedIn to its full capacity. And as I talk about this, I am talking about using the free account, okay? So sometimes people are like, wow, I guess I'd have to have the premium and I have to buy Sales Navigator and all this stuff. The tools that I'm going to give you today have nothing to do with that. Okay. This is on a free account. Anyone could do. And I see that I have Darlene Petrie following along today. Awesome. Darlene is an expert at this, and I'll probably talk about her later. So good to see you following along with us today, Darlene. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about is, why is LinkedIn so important? Many of us who have businesses or we're entrepreneurs, we're out in the community. What happens when somebody looks you up? This is incredibly important. Maybe you're at a business networking event and you handed someone your business card and you're thinking, well, they'll find me through my business card. If they are considering your service, chances are that they are actually also considering other people who offer your service. So what you want to have happen is you want them to look you up and see something better than when they look up your competitor. And this often happens just from the fact that you shared a business card, or you've been connected by somebody or referred by somebody. They're doing a little research on you. Well, if I research anyone and I Google their name, the first thing that comes up at the top of the Google search is the LinkedIn profile of that person. So let's say I'm thinking about using a real estate agent, and I'm thinking about selling my house. So I have been introduced to somebody at a networking event who does real estate. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe I'll use this person. And I look up the website and it all looks flashy and professional because they hired someone to do it. There might even be a button that connects me directly to their LinkedIn profile. So I hit the button and I go there, and now I'm confused. What the bleepity bleep is that? Okay, I see their profile and maybe there's a silhouette or there's no background or something, just doesn't look as nice and professional as that website did. And then I start looking at the profile and there's not very much information there about them. And I'm like, what happens when we visit a social media asset and it doesn't look like it's cared for? Don't we kind of question whether this person is real or legitimate? Don't we kind of question whether they would look after the little details in our business life with them? Because they clearly are not looking after the little details here. Do you see how important that is? So When we have our websites linking to social media pages and we go there and the pages look dead, empty, the profiles haven't been filled out properly, and no comment or any kind of work has been done on that for a long time. We can see the last post they made was in 2016. Doesn't that have a disconnect to what we just saw on this professional website? This is just one of the reasons why your LinkedIn profile needs to really look good and why you want to spend some time making this thing happen for you. Okay. So looking after our LinkedIn profile is just a piece of this, though. We don't just get business off the LinkedIn profile, but it is the first thing that people are going to see when they visit your LinkedIn profile, and they're going to look at it. They're going to see like stuff like, is there a nice banner behind your name? Is there a picture there that really looks like you and in a professional way? Not you standing there holding a fish in a t-shirt showing off your belly, right? Because that doesn't look like your profession usually, unless you are a fisherman. Okay. So you would want to have something that looks professional, looks like you, and looks approachable on your LinkedIn profile. Now, I'm not going to get into the profile a lot here today because we have a great video at CIBN TV about fixing up your LinkedIn profile. Okay. And you can find it by going to the playlist in the social media section. There is a great video and it's only a few minutes. I think it's 7 to 8 minutes long, something like that. And if you actually pause it, play it and pause it as you go through, it gives you all the steps that you need to do to really make your profile sing. And you should do it. You should book a time with yourself, but 45 minutes or an hour on the calendar somewhere and sit down and go through those steps so that your profile looks great. Because when people come and they look at you and then they compare you to your competitor, it should look like you actually have professional stuff supporting who you are, right? There should be a trail there, a story. And I learned this years ago when LinkedIn was pretty new. I actually was meeting with a gentleman who was about to buy my services. And at the time I was selling marketing services, social media marketing, online marketing. I was doing things like creating their banners and backgrounds and writing their content for them and writing emails and all these different kinds of things for them in their online digital marketing space. And I had a potential client who had asked me to join him for coffee. I think we were sitting in a Starbucks restaurant. And as I'm explaining to him what my fee structure is, he right in front of me pulled out his iPad and starts scrolling, looking me up. But what was interesting, as he brought it up, I could see who else he had been looking at. And he was looking at my competitors. And when he scrolled my LinkedIn profile and looked at what I had there versus what they had on theirs, I kicked tiny. Okay. My profile was actually set up really, really well. There was a story there. My about section was full. It was easy to contact me. In fact, I realized that that's probably where he found me because my contact information was not just in the contact information section. It was actually right at the top of my profile as well. So if you Googled me and you weren't even a LinkedIn user, you could hit the blue button where my phone number was and call me. And that's how he found me. I also realized that he had been looking at somebody else who said that they were a social media guru. Okay. I clearly had thousands of followers. You could see that by looking at my LinkedIn profile. This person had like 49. Their background was not complete. The story of what they did was not there. Also, I had spent some time asking people that I had done work for to give me great recommendations. And so there was a whole series of them there. And today I still am very active in that. When somebody says, hey, you did a great job for me, I'm like, great. Can you write me a LinkedIn recommendation like that? And they're like, yeah, sure, I can do that for you. And over the years, this has been so helpful in business as people have reached out thinking about, whether I would join CIBN's business network. Do they really know what they're talking about? And they look me up because I'm the owner. So they go to check it out and I go, man, she really does know her stuff about social media. Look at these profiles. They look like professional profiles. And there's a great story there, right? Sometimes if I'm talking to somebody about a high ticket offer that we offer, because we have sponsorship that starts at $10,000 and goes up from there. And we also have consultation clients that I take sometimes that are very high ticket. even more than that. And so when somebody is like thinking of working with me, they tend to go look at this stuff. So I want to make sure that it looks good and that there is great stuff there, true stories, people that they could contact and actually ask, any one of my recommendations. No problem if someone called them and actually said, hey, have you actually done work with Carrie George? And they would have a great story. And that's why I have them connected there and why I've got them up for recommendations. Another thing on that profile is that today you can put things like featured videos in the featured section. So if you have a YouTube channel, you can actually go and connect some of the pieces there. If you've written a book, you can have that in your featured section. So it's not just about where you've worked before or what that resume looks like. All right. It's also about what are the accomplishments that you've had and how many things do you have that people could actually check out your story of who you are and what you do and why you're so awesome, right? That helps when you're in business. Absolutely. Okay, but that is just the first piece. You're not going to make $150,000 a year off your LinkedIn profile just because the profile looks nice. That's part one, okay? That's the background information that is needed for the client to say, yes, I want to work with you. And that's why it's so important. You should at least spend an hour fixing it up. And you should go back to it at least once a year and kind of redo it and make sure it looks great. Okay. But that is not the strategy. That's the beginning. So what's the strategy? Well, there's more than one. So I'm going to give you one of them right now that's nice and simple that anyone could do. And that is to just start talking to people. Now, the first part is talking to people means you have to have some. So I guess we got to backpedal a little bit here. Have you been making connections on LinkedIn? Sometimes I go visit somebody's LinkedIn profile and it says 39 connections. That's awful. Okay. Especially if you're a marketing expert. I just want to go, ugh. Clearly you don't even know what you're doing. Okay. If you're a marketing expert, your marketing assets should look great. All right. And if they don't, you might want to take the word expert off of your profile. Okay. A marketing expert should have more than 500 connections at least on LinkedIn. After that point, we can't really tell how many you have, but everybody should work hard to get at least 500 connections on there so that you just can't be seen like outed for having a small connection contact list, right? Because what kind of a professional guru expert has less than 500 anyway, right? So the first milestone is let's get 500 connections. How do you do that? Well, you ask people to connect with you and you can specifically target the people that you want to connect with. Let's say I want to work with people primarily in the city in which I live. Okay, so go to the search inside of the under my network part, put in the name of your city, and then what kind of people would you like to work with? Is there one particular occupation, for example, that you would like to work with? Put that into the search window and see who else is there. And you're looking for second level connections. Just start connecting. In fact, if I had low connections, I would make it a daily habit to connect to 10 to 20 people. Just a few every day or a few 3 times a week. But I'd schedule that time into my calendar to make it happen because it doesn't happen through osmosis. It happens through intentional action. Okay. So, and that it's a free activity anyone could do. Now, I know some people say, well, I could use a tool to do that. Yes and no. We have tools for that. In fact, at CIBN Connect, we have a tool that is free for all of our members to use. And the reason that it works is because it's semi-automated. If it's automated, oh, those tools look sexy. They're so attractive. We could get this done in just 30 seconds by hitting a button. And LinkedIn finds out that you're doing it because they can see the automation and they freeze your account for that kind of stuff. So no, that's not the best way to do it. Okay. You either just sit there and hit the button and do it individually, one at a time, or use a semi-automated tool like the one that you get through CIBN Connect. Okay. Because otherwise you put your account at risk. And after you have spent all this time and effort on it, you certainly wouldn't want to have it suspended or locked down or never be able to open it again. What a waste of time and energy that would be, right? So you want to make sure that you're doing these things right. Once you have connections, you can start having conversations. Now, how do we have conversations? Again, when you add me to your electronic bot, I can tell. It says, hey, Carrie, we're talking to all of the lawyers in the community about blah, 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 and I'm not a lawyer. And I automatically know that you're using an automated bot to do this. Again, risky behavior that could get your LinkedIn account frozen or suspended. But also it turns people off, because when you call me a lawyer and I'm not a lawyer, I am irritated immediately. When you call me a coach and I'm not a coach, I get irritated. Don't you? Somebody reaches out to you and calls you a chiropractor and you're not a chiropractor. You can tell honestly and immediately that this person is just using some kind of a tool and it doesn't seem legitimate, right? You're immediately questioning, who is this? Why are they reaching out to me? It looks spammy. And when I'm talking about having conversations, I'm not talking about that. That's disgusting. Stop it. Nobody likes that. Okay. What is attractive is when people ask questions when they seem to be legitimately interested in us, right? So when I reach out for a connection, I just say, hey, I'm reaching out for a connection today because I like to be connected with people who are positive and growing a business. And if that sounds like you, then please connect with me. Nice and simple, easy ask for the connection. I'm not trying to pitch to them in the connection because, first of all, so many people will just not even connect with us if we try to pitch to them immediately in the connection request. That's ridiculous, right? So nice, easy ask. This is the kind of people I like to connect to. And I've usually targeted the vocation of the person that I want to connect to. So I know that I'm getting the right people in my target market, the ones that I can do business with. And then as I start to communicate back with them, sometimes people even respond with a comment because I asked in such a, nice way that was really not pressuring. Sometimes they'll come back and say, yeah, I like to meet positive people too. And what do we have there? We have a conversation that is beginning. Now I can comment back. I don't comment back with a answer that could be for anyone. I comment back with something that would be for them. So I see that they answered me back. I can see they are a chiropractor. And I might say that because I look at their page to make sure that they are a chiropractor. Okay. I say, hey, I see you're in my city and you're a chiropractor. How's business going? Nice, easy question. And I wait to see if they answer me back. Some do and some don't. Some do, some don't. So what? I'm not hung up on that. I'm talking to people all the time. If some people don't answer me back, I don't take it personally. Okay, but maybe they're busy. Who knows? I always say in the absence of real information, we like to make crap up. Right? Somebody doesn't answer us back. We're like, they must not like us. They're not looking for new business. Did they say that? They didn't say that. We don't know that. We're just making that up. So I don't make it up. I just, by the numbers, talk to X number of people on a regular basis, every day, every week. And as I get those conversations happening, sometimes it turns into business and sometimes it doesn't. But the more conversations that I have, the more business that comes from it. What do I want to have happen through these conversations? Well, for me, I run a networking organization. So sometimes I just want them to come to a networking meeting. Check it out. Maybe I'm thinking about, I could refer them to one of the people in the business network that perhaps does marketing. Maybe I could refer them to somebody who is really great at Facebook ads or something like that, right? So I ask questions. How are they doing? Do they have any marketing? What's going on? I just chat with them back and forth. And if they are looking for something and they say, oh, no, I got that covered, but I actually am looking for this. I go, oh, maybe there's somebody in the network. I can refer to them and I get this conversation happening. Sometimes I'm leading them right into a consultation appointment because maybe I have determined they're in my target market for that. For me personally, I only work with coaches and I work with people that have membership-based businesses because I've been running one myself for more than a decade. So I have a lot of knowledge about that. So if somebody starts to tell me that they have a membership-based business and we're chatting back and forth, I'll say, great, let's get together on a call and talk. Right. And then I don't just fling my link at them. I ask them if they would like to get together. And if they say yes, then I share my link with them. This is incredibly important. We have invited thousands of people a year to business networking meetings from CIBN Connect every year, year after year after year. It's filled meeting after meeting after meeting. We've used it to fill webinars. We've used it to fill lunch meetings in the city that we are in. We've used it to fill online meetings, training meetings, summits. And one of the biggest mistakes that I see people doing with LinkedIn out there in the world is that they immediately fling links at everyone they're connected to and even to people they are not. What is a fling link deal? Well, it's like they just connected with me. I've said nothing to them at all. And they're like, hey, I'm having this webinar, blah, 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 blah. This is what you do to connect the button. It's only $49. Click the link now. Click the link now. And I'm like, we're not even friends yet. It's my second message with you. There was not even a hi, how are you? And you're sending me a message to click the link. That's a great way to chase people off. See, well, it works. Does it? 1 out of 100 times? You got to do a lot in order for that to work. I know the numbers on that because we've run the numbers on that and tested it against real conversations. Real conversations win out every time. We get thousands of dollars of business every year through real conversations. When you ask questions and you get to know them a bit, and then you bring them towards having a meeting and you start the relationship and start talking with them honestly about what they do, there's no end to revenue like that. But when you fling links, you just chase them away and you convince them in the first interaction that they want nothing to do with you. That's not profitable. So it's better to ask those questions, invite them to have a discussion, ask them if they want the link. When we're doing networking and inviting people to these meetings, we'll tell them what the meeting is and say, would you like to register? Would you like to come? And we ask the question and we wait for them to answer. And if I send out 25 of those in the morning, usually 20 to 25% of the people that I ask that question to will answer me back with yes, yes, please. Then I actually will take it a step further and say, would you like me to register you? I can see this as your email address. Would that be the right address to use? And I register them. Hello? Instead of here's the link and hoping that they register themselves, we take it a step further and we ask them if could we, help you out by registering you. And all I need is your email address to do that. When you ask it that way, people give it to you. And now they've opted in. Isn't that cool? We've increased our email list to tens of thousands doing exactly that. And we have communication with exactly the kind of professionals that we want to have in our business network, in my consultation business, and for the businesses that are part of CIBN. We've added numerous connections for their benefit as well by using this process. And it's just one of the processes that we use, but it's very profitable. I've had insurance agents that just needed to start conversations with people about their family budgeting and planning. Just start chatting. That's an incredibly difficult job to do using most types of marketing for insurance agents because it's a highly regulated industry. So they can't just put up ads and fling links. They have to have discussions. And when we use this process and we show them how to do it, many of them have increased their business, dramatically, some to $150,000 a year and more, just by having conversations. This is one of the main methods that we worked with Cliff Morgan with, and Cliff has put a great testimony on CIBN Connect, actually on CIBN TV on YouTube about this, about how we helped him increase his revenue to $112,000 over about a 3-4 month period. It wasn't revenue, it was commission. That's how much he made. And this was one of the main things that he was doing. He was just talking to people and sparking conversations and following up with them. Isn't that cool? That's the impact that it could have. And he's in the financial industry. What could it do for you to use this kind of a strategy? Where can you learn how to do this more effectively? Well, CIBN Connect, we help our business owners apply this one because it's something that most people could do. And it's low cost. Just requires a little bit of repetitive work doing the same thing for a few minutes, either a day or at least every week, doing it for a few minutes. And it really, really adds up. It's a high impact, low cost method to increase your income in a dramatic way. As people start talking to you, you want to answer them back. And I think it's important too to mention that people are looking to connect with humans that are human beings. They're not looking to connect with human doings. You know what I'm saying? It's not about, I do this, I do that, I do this. Join me with this, dot, 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 dot. I think oftentimes we're overselling it. We don't want to use a bot when we're talking to people on LinkedIn. We want to make appointments and then have real conversations. Okay? No one wants to talk to a robot, and nobody wants to talk to a human that is doing. They want to talk to a human being. All right. And one of the other brilliant things that I have found about using LinkedIn over the years, they call this social networking. They call it a social network, LinkedIn. I've been running a business network similar to a chamber of commerce, only on a global level for more than 14 years now. And one of the first things that occurred to me way back when we got started in 2010 was, shouldn't we be using this along with LinkedIn? I mean, aren't business owners primarily the users of LinkedIn? Wouldn't it make sense that if I met somebody at a networking meeting, that I would connect with them on LinkedIn? And we've turned that into a real strategy at CIBN Connect for ourselves and for our members. It's made a huge difference in their lives. And I think it can make a huge difference for you as well. Networking is amazing. And when you use it in simultaneously and in connection with social networking like LinkedIn, the impact of it becomes even more powerful. And I'm just seeing what Darlene Petrie is just adding here. Look at this. Thank you, CIBN and Carrie, for helping me increase my conversations on LinkedIn and increasing my business dramatically. Darlene Petrie is actually a success story at CIBN Connect using this particular model. I want to tell you something. You can do this for yourself. If you're a small business and you don't have a lot of money, this strategy will work for you. Okay? And you could do this. If you don't know what you're doing, you need some help. Darlene Petrie is someone who can help you. If you don't have time to do it, Darlene Petrie is an excellent option. Okay? Why? Some people say, I could just get a VA to do this. Can you now? I've tried. Good luck with that. Some virtual assistants, if they are from an English-speaking country and have excellent grammar and they can sound like you, certainly you could. But the cost of that virtual assistant is going to be way more than the cost of a virtual assistant, perhaps from another country, like the Philippines, for example, who can get a lot of work done, but may have challenges with grammar or sounding like you. And also doesn't necessarily think like a business owner. Why is that important? Well, if the ideal outcome here is to get an appointment booked, you need somebody who actually knows how to get the appointment booked. So Darlene Petrie today has learned the strategy so well, she's turned this into a business called Book. And her rates are very reasonable. So if you are looking for somebody to help you with this strategy, Darlene Petrie is your girl. So you want to reach out to her and actually do that with her. Very reasonably priced, and she has other options as well that can help you through the whole process to not only book the appointments, but also increase your sales. Because that's also an important aspect of this. If you are getting more leads through LinkedIn or through networking or through anything, and you suck at selling, well, it doesn't matter how many leads you have come in if you cannot sell. So that's another piece that has to be fixed. And you'll be happy to know, as if you're following along in this series, that is one of our upcoming videos that we're going to talk about, is how to increase your overall sales. It's also incredibly important, because if you're looking at increasing your business revenue and you get 100 leads a month coming in that are great quality leads and you can't sell, what difference does it make what the number of leads is? If you suck at selling, you're going to get zero sales or very low amount of sales. So that also has to be considered. And we're going to be talking about that in an upcoming video. And you're going to want to subscribe to CIBN TV so that you don't miss out on this, because when we go live with the next one, you're going to want to make sure that you see it. So go to CIBN TV on YouTube and check that out. Subscribe, ring the bell so that you don't miss the next video in this series. And you will see that there are also other videos up already in this series, and all of them are designed to help you get more business revenue. And each one of these strategies are things that I work with my consulting clients with. And each one of them helps them bring in $150,000 a year or more as they apply them. So you might want to pay attention to what's going on in these videos. All right. Okay. We'll be talking to you again soon. Happy capitalism. And hope that you check out the CIBN.com. It's our website, and CIBN TV on YouTube. Talk to you soon.